They say success leaves clues, but if you look closely enough, you realize that success doesn't just leave clues, it leaves a blueprint, a specific, repeatable code. For years, I was looking for that code in all the wrong places. I was looking at stock tickers, I was looking at crypto charts, I was looking at drop shipping trends. I was broke, desperate, and sleeping on a mattress that I pulled out of a dumpster behind a furniture store. I was drowning in $40,000 of bad debt, wondering why the universe had locked me out of the club. Then everything changed. Not because I bought a course, not because I got lucky, but because I got access. I started spending time around a very specific community. A community that represents less than 0.2% of the global population, yet consistently accounts for over 20% of the world's billionaires. I'm talking about the Jewish business elite. I stopped asking them what stocks they were buying. I stopped asking them about real estate. Instead, I started watching what they did the moment they opened their eyes. I realized that while I was waking up and immediately scrolling through Instagram, frying my dopamine receptors before I even got out of bed, they were executing a 6-step protocol, a protocol that has been passed down not for decades, but for thousands of years. It is an ancient algorithm for wealth generation disguised as a morning routine. I copied it. Exact steps, exact sequence. And within 18 months, my net worth didn't just double, it didn't just triple, it exploded. This isn't about waking up at 4 a.m. to take a cold shower. This isn't about hustling harder. This is about wiring your brain for abundance before the rest of the world has even had their first cup of coffee. This is the 6-step morning routine of Jewish billionaires. And if you implement this, you won't just change your bank account, you will change your entire existence. Let's get real for a second. Most people start their day on the defense. The alarm goes off, it's a jarring noise. You hit snooze. You're already procrastinating on your life. Then you grab your phone. You check your texts, you check the news, you check your emails. You are immediately reacting to other people's agendas. You are letting the world dictate your emotional state before your feet even hit the floor. You are starting the race 10 steps behind. The wealthy don't do this. Specifically, the ultra-wealthy individuals I studied in New York, London, and Tel Aviv, they treat the first hour of the day as sacred territory. It is a fortress, and it starts with step 1. Step 1 is what I call the acknowledgement. In Hebrew, this is known as Modeh Ani. Now stay with me. You don't need to be religious to understand the psychological power of this. The literal translation is, I offer thanks, but the application is tactical. The billionaire mindset dictates that you cannot build wealth from a place of scarcity. When you wake up and immediately think about your problems, your debts, or the stress of the day, your brain releases cortisol. You enter survival mode. In survival mode, you cannot spot opportunities. You can only spot threats. You get tunnel vision. The Jewish protocol flips this switch instantly. The moment their eyes open, before they move, before they stretch, before they even think about looking for a screen, they verbalize gratitude for simply existing. They anchor themselves in the present moment. I started doing this. The second I woke up, instead of thinking, oh God, I have to pay that bill, I forced my brain to say, I am here, I am alive, I have another shot. It sounds simple, it sounds almost too easy, but here is the science. By doing this, you are priming your reticular activating system. That's the part of your brain that filters information. If you prime it with gratitude and presence, it scans your environment for positives throughout the day. It scans for deals. It scans for connections. If you prime it with stress, it scans for reasons to be angry. I noticed a shift in my first week. I walked into meetings calmer. I negotiated better because I wasn't desperate. I was grounded. That is the power of the acknowledgement. It is the foundation. But you cannot build a skyscraper on a foundation alone. You need structure. This leads us directly to step 2. And this is where it gets strange for the average person, but absolutely critical for the high performer. Step 2 is the cleansing. In the tradition, this is called netalat yadayim. It refers to the washing of the hands. But we need to look at the metaphysical logic here to understand why billionaires do this. The belief is that when you sleep, a minor part of death tastes your soul. Impurity attaches to you. When you wake up, that residue is still on you. Specifically on your hands, the tools you use to interact with the world. So, before they touch their face, before they touch food, and certainly before they touch any business documents, they wash their hands in a very specific manner. Right hand, left hand, alternating. Water is poured. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so I need to wash my hands. Big deal. You are missing the point. The ritual isn't just hygiene, it is a psychological reset button. Water is the universal symbol of flow and clarity. By performing this ritual immediately upon rising, you are physically washing away the lethargy of sleep. You are signaling to your nervous system that the dream state is over and the creation state has begun. When I started doing this, I bought a simple copper cup, just like the one my mentor used. I kept it by the bathroom sink. Every morning, splash, splash, splash. The sensation of the cold water wasn't just waking me up, it was washing away the doubts of the previous day. It was washing away the failures of the past. It created a clean slate. Think about how many people carry the stress of yesterday into today. They wake up angry about an argument they had last night. They wake up anxious about a mistake they made 3 years ago. The cleansing ritual severs that cord. It allows you to step into the new day with zero baggage. You are light. And to make billions, you need to be light. You need to move fast. Once the mind is primed with gratitude and the body is purified with water, you are ready for step 3. This is the step that separates the rich from the wealthy. There is a difference. Rich is having money. Wealth is having wisdom. Step 3 is the download. Most people, if they read in the morning, read the news. They read about wars, inflation, politics. They fill their heads with noise. The Jewish billionaires I shadowed, they study. But they don't study the news, they study the eternal. They spend 15 to 30 minutes engaging with deep, complex wisdom. Often, this is the Torah or the Gemara. Now, analyze this through a secular lens. The Gemara is essentially a massive record of legal debates, logic puzzles, and ethical dilemmas. It is mental weightlifting. By studying these texts first thing in the morning, they are sharpening their logic centers. They are training their brains to analyze complex arguments. They are looking at patterns of human behavior that haven't changed in 3,000 years. My mentor told me, business is just people, and people haven't changed since the time of Moses. The technology changes, the psychology remains the same. So I replaced my morning Twitter scroll with reading biographies of titans. I read Marcus Aurelius. I read about the banking families of the 19th century. I read complex philosophy. I forced my brain to chew on something hard before I started my work. The result? My critical thinking skills skyrocketed. While my competitors were reacting to the headlines of the day, I was operating on principles that work in any market. I was seeing the chessboard from above. I wasn't just playing the game, I was understanding the rules of the game designer. This download period is non-negotiable. It is the input that determines the quality of your output. If you input garbage, you output garbage. If you input wisdom, you output wealth. It creates a mental gap between you and the rest of the world. While they are discussing the latest celebrity scandal, you are thinking about leverage, compounding interest, and legacy. You are literally speaking a different language because you are reading a different script. But steps 1, 2, and 3 are just the preparation. They are the warm-up. They get you to the starting line. Step 4 is where the rubber meets the road. Step 4 is where the actual money is made. This is the part of the routine that took me the longest to master because it goes against everything modern productivity gurus tell you. Modern hustle culture tells you to make a to-do list. It tells you to write down your top 3 tasks and attack them. The Jewish billionaire protocol laughs at your to-do list. They don't focus on tasks, they focus on vision. Step 4 is the visionary alignment. In the prayers recited in the morning, there is a profound emphasis on aligning one's will with the will of the Creator. In a business context, this translates to aligning your daily actions with your ultimate purpose. Before they open a laptop, they sit in silence, absolute silence, and they visualize the end result of their life, not just the end of the week, the end of the life. They ask themselves a terrifying question. Is what I am about to do today building my empire, or is it just keeping me busy? I used to be the king of busy. I answered every email. I took every call. I felt productive, but I was spinning my wheels. I was broke because I was efficient at doing things that didn't matter. When I adopted the visionary alignment, I started cutting things. I fired clients. I stopped pursuing low-margin opportunities. I sat in my chair, closed my eyes, and visualized the billionaire version of myself. I asked him, "What would you do today?" And the answer was usually, "Do less, but do it with higher leverage." This silence is uncomfortable. Most people cannot sit in a room alone with their thoughts for 5 minutes. It terrifies them. They need the radio on. They need a podcast playing. They need noise to drown out the mediocrity of their reality. But the billionaire craves the silence because that is where the strategy is born. In that silence, you find the killer idea. In that silence, you realize that the partnership you were about to sign is a bad deal. In that silence, you find the courage to ask for double the price. I remember the first time this really hit me. I was about to launch a marketing campaign that I had spent weeks preparing. It was good. It was standard. I sat for my visionary alignment, I closed my eyes, and in the quiet, a thought surfaced. This is too small. This is playing it safe. I scrapped the whole thing. I rewrote the offer in 10 minutes. I doubled the price. I launched it. That campaign made me more money in a week than I had made in the previous 2 years. Why? Because I stopped executing blindly and started aligning strategically. But here is where it gets dangerous. You have the gratitude, you have the clarity, you have the wisdom, you have the vision. Now you have a surplus of energy. You are vibrating at a higher frequency. If you do not channel this energy correctly, it will burn you out. It will turn into anxiety. This leads us to step 5. This is the step that most people skip because they think they don't have time. My mentor looked me in the eye and said, "You don't have time not to do this." This step is about charity, but not in the way you think. It's not about writing a check at the end of the year to get a tax deduction. It is about the daily act of giving before you receive. In the tradition, there is a concept called tzedakah. Many of these billionaires have a small box on their desk. Every single morning, before they make a single dollar, they put a coin or a bill into that box. Why? because it breaks the psychological grip of greed. When you give money away first thing in the morning, you are telling your subconscious mind, I have more than enough. I am a source. I am a river, not a reservoir. If you hoard your money, you operate from fear. You hold on tight. And when you hold on tight, your hands are closed. And closed hands cannot catch new opportunities. I didn't have a box. I didn't have cash. So I started digitally. Every morning, I sent $5 to a random friend or a charity. Or I bought coffee for the person behind me if I went out. It hurt at first. I was broke, remember? Every dollar counted. But I forced myself. I am abundant. I am abundant. And the strangest thing happened. The more I let go of the money, the faster it came back. It was like I was priming the pump. You have to give water to get water. This creates a flow state. You walk into your business dealings not as a taker, but as a giver. And everyone wants to do business with a giver. Everyone runs from a taker. By the time you have completed these 5 steps, you have been awake for maybe 45 minutes. You haven't checked your email yet. You haven't looked at the stock market. But you are more prepared for war than 99% of the planet. You are spiritually, mentally, and physically armored. But there is one final step, the 6th step. This is the seal. This is the lock. Without this step, all the energy you just built up leaks out by noon. This is the secret weapon that allows these men and women to sustain high performance for decades without burning out. Most people start strong and crash by 2 p.m. The Jewish billionaire protocol accounts for energy preservation. Step 6 is a verbal contract you make with yourself. It is an incantation of protection. I need you to listen very carefully to this next part, because if you mess this up, the first 5 steps are useless. You can have the vision, the gratitude, and the charity, but if you let the world steal your focus, you lose. Step 6 is the covenant of silence. In the ancient texts, there is a concept that blessing only rests upon that which is hidden from the eye. If you reveal your plans too early, you kill the energy. You dissipate the pressure needed to launch the rocket. Step 6 is a 30-minute blackout. No talking, no phone, no email, no news, no input. The old man told me, God created the world with words, but before he spoke, there was the void. You are a creator in the image of the Creator. If you speak before you are ready, you create chaos. If you let the world speak to you before you are ready, you become a servant to their creation, not the master of your own. So, the rule was simple but excruciating. After the charity, after the prayer, after the cold water, I had to sit in absolute silence for 30 minutes. I could drink coffee, I could look out the window, but I could not consume information and I could not speak. This sounds easy to you. I know it does. You think, I can sit quiet for 30 minutes? You have no idea. The first week I tried step 6, I felt like a drug addict going through withdrawal. My hand twitched, reaching for my phone. My brain screamed at me. Check the market, check the emails. What if there's an emergency? What if the deal fell through? What if she texted back? The modern mind is terrified of silence because in silence, you have to face yourself. You have to face the gap between where you are and where you want to be. The noise of the world is the anesthetic we use to numb that pain. But the old man was adamant. This is where the billions are made, he said. Not in the meeting, not in the signing, but in the silence where the strategy is born. If you react to the world, you are a thermometer. You just reflect the temperature of the room. If you sit in silence, you become the thermostat. You set the temperature. So I sat, day after day. At first, it was torture. Then it became boring. And then, about 3 weeks in, something shifted. The noise in my head stopped. The static cleared. And in that silence, ideas started to float up. Not just ideas, solutions. I saw the chessboard. I saw the moves my competitors were making before they made them. I realized that the emergency I was worried about was actually a trap I needed to avoid. This is the secret of the Jewish billionaire protocol. It isn't magic. It is the systematic removal of noise so that the signal can come through. I stuck to the protocol. Wake up, gratitude, cold water, the vision, charity, silence. 6 months passed. My income didn't just double, it tripled. Then it 10x'd. The deals I was chasing started chasing me. I walked into rooms with a different energy. I wasn't needy anymore. I was full. I was a river. But the real test, the climax of this entire journey, came on a Tuesday in November. I will never forget the date. It was the day the big one was supposed to close, the deal that would move me from doing okay to wealthy for life. We are talking about an acquisition deal involving 3 different companies spanning 2 continents. I had spent 6 months architecting this. It was my masterpiece. I woke up that Tuesday at 5 a.m. I felt the pit in my stomach, the anxiety. Today was the day. The lawyers were meeting at 9 a.m. The wires were scheduled for noon. My instinct screamed at me, grab your phone, check your email, call the lawyers, make sure everything is ready. The fear was palpable. It tasted like metal in my mouth. I stood by my bed in the dark. The blue light of my phone charger was blinking across the room, taunting me. Just one look, the voice whispered. Just see if the term sheet came through. I remembered the old man's face. Slaves react, kings command. Command yourself first. I turned my back on the phone. I went to the sink. Cold water, splash. The shock reset my nervous system. I am grateful for the breath in my lungs. I am grateful for the challenge. I sat in my chair. I did the visualization. I saw the deal signed, not with hope, but with memory. I remembered it happening in the future. I opened my banking app and sent $100 to a local shelter. I am a river. I am abundant. And then, step 6, the silence. I sat there. The clock on the wall ticked, 5:45 a.m. My mind was a hurricane. What if the buyer backs out? What if the regulatory approval failed? I breathed. I let the thoughts come and I let them go. I refused to engage with them. I refused to pick up the phone. 6 a.m., still silent. 6:15 a.m. And then at 6:20 a.m., 10 minutes before my silence was supposed to end, my landline rang. Nobody calls the landline, only emergencies. My heart hammered against my ribs. It was the lawyer. I knew it. Something had gone wrong. The protocol says, do not break the silence until the time is up. The phone rang and rang and rang. Every ring was a punch to the gut. Pick it up. You're going to lose everything. I gripped the arms of my chair. My knuckles turned white. I closed my eyes. I visualized the box from step 1. I put the ringing phone inside the box. I put the fear inside the box. The ringing stopped. Silence returned. I waited the final 10 minutes. I have never sweated so much while sitting still in my life. At 6:30 a.m. sharp, I stood up. I was done. I was armored. I walked over to the phone. I checked the messages. It was my lead attorney. His voice was shaking on the voicemail. We have a massive problem. The buyers found a discrepancy in the IP valuation. They are threatening to walk. They want to get on a call right now. Call me immediately. It's falling apart." The timestamp was 6:20 a.m. Panic flared up, hot and bright. But then it hit the armor. I had just spent an hour building a fortress around my mind. The panic couldn't get in. If I had picked up that phone at 6:20 a.m., I would have been in a reactive state. I would have been desperate. I would have begged. I would have started negotiating from a place of fear. And when you negotiate from fear, you lose. But now, it was 6:35 a.m. I had completed the protocol. I was vibrating at a different frequency. I didn't call the lawyer back. I went to the kitchen. I made coffee. I ate a slow breakfast. I waited until 7 a.m. Then I called. "What's the status?" I asked. My voice was calm, deep, unshakable. "They're walking," the lawyer shouted. "They're pulling the term sheet. We need to offer a discount. We need to concede the IP rights." "No," I said. "What? Did you hear me? The deal is dead if we don't." "No," I repeated. "We don't offer a discount. We don't concede anything. In fact, tell them that if the wires aren't received by noon as scheduled, the price goes up by 5% for the inconvenience of this last-minute drama." Silence on the other end. "Are you crazy? They have all the leverage." "They have money," I said. "I have certainty. I don't need this deal. I am a river, not a reservoir. If they walk, someone else will walk in. Call their bluff." I can't tell them that." "Then put me on the phone." I got on the conference call at 7:15 a.m. The buyers were screaming. They were aggressive. They were trying to bully me. I listened. I didn't interrupt. I sat in the silence I had cultivated that morning. When they were finished yelling, I paused. I let the silence hang on the line for a full 10 seconds. It was heavy. It was uncomfortable. "Gentlemen," I said softly, "the terms are the terms. You are upset because you realize the value of what you are buying, and you are trying to save pennies at the finish line. It is beneath you. The price is the price. You have until noon." And I hung up. My lawyer thought I had just set $10 million on fire. He was hyperventilating. I went to the gym. I trusted the protocol. I trusted the state of being I was in. I knew with absolute spiritual certainty that I was abundant regardless of the outcome. I had given money away that morning when I had nothing. I had proven to the universe that I was not a slave to the outcome. 11 a.m. passed. Silence. 11:30 a.m. passed. Silence. 11:45. My lawyer called. "They wired the funds," he said. He sounded like he was in shock. "Full amount, no concessions." They actually apologized for the outburst. I didn't jump up and down. I didn't pop champagne. I just nodded. "Good," I said, because I had already lived that moment at 5:15 a.m. in my chair. The reality was just catching up to the vision. That is the power of the Jewish Billionaire Morning Protocol. It is not about productivity. It is not about hustle. It is about energetic alignment. It is about taking your hands off the wheel of the world and putting them on the wheel of your mind. The old man, the billionaire, he taught me that the war is not fought in the marketplace. The war is fought in the first hour of the morning, in the privacy of your own soul. If you win the morning, you have already won the day. The rest is just logistics. Most of you listening to this will nod your head. You will think, "That's a cool story." And tomorrow, you will wake up, grab your phone, scroll through social media, flood your brain with cortisol, and go out into the world as a beggar, hoping for a scrap of success. And you will fail. But a few of you, maybe 1%, will try this. You will wake up. You will say, Modeh Ani. You will be grateful. You will shock your body with the cold. You will visualize the outcome until it is a memory. You will give, even if it's just $1, to break the grip of greed. And you will sit in the covenant of silence. You will build the armor. And when the crisis comes, and it will come, you will not break. You will be the eye of the storm. You will be the one who remains standing when everyone else is collapsing. The protocol is free. The water is free. The silence is free. The only cost is your old self. The old man passed away a few years ago. I went to his funeral. There were no cameras, no press, just a small group of men and women, all of whom looked like they carried the weight of the world with the lightness of a feather. We didn't talk much. We just nodded at each other. We knew. We knew the secret. We knew that while the world sleeps, the masters are awake. While the world screams, the masters are silent. And while the world takes, the masters give. Now you have the code. The lock is open. The door is right in front of you. Walk through it. Wake up.